Welcome to the tinyML Asia 2020. I'm Evgeni Gousev. I'm a professor of electrical engineering at KAIST Korea and chair of today's session, the plenary session and session number 1, hardware session. And it is my pleasure to be on the technical program committee for the tinyML Asia.
My name is Evgeni Gousev. I am from Qualcomm AI Research, and I'm based in the Bay Area in California. I am one of the co-founders of tinyML Foundation, and currently I'm served there on the board of directors as a chairman. And I would like to give a couple of introductory remarks for this community before we get started with the tinyML Asia event. A little bit of history. So we started tinyML events in 2019. The first one took place in March, and Google hosted it in Sunnyvale. And to our surprise, that gathering was for over 160 people, and they represented more than 90 companies. It was quite amazing event, very exciting event, really bringing all this community people working on tinyML together, and that happened less than 2 years ago. Then this year, just before the lockdown, we had our second event, second summit, also here in California. And you can see a very significant growth. It was attended by more than 400 people, and the number of companies almost doubled there. And now we are in the tinyML Asia event. So this is our day 2. Yesterday we had the state of the art date when we discussed the overview of the current technologies in the hardware and algorithms and in the applications area. And the event yesterday, online event yesterday, was attended more than 1,000 people. I think we had like 1,400 people attended yesterday. So hopefully we'll continue the same trend today and throughout the week. So we're really excited to bring tinyML to Asia. We planned this event for about a year. We started this about a year ago, and we were hoping to have this event live in Shanghai. We had all the preparations there. We had the local committee there. We selected a venue, but unfortunately we have to do it online again. But hope you find this format also very useful and very interactive. And talking about the growth, tinyML in general is relatively new, but it's really a very fast growing field of machine learning. Again, we put some seeds into the ground in 2018 when several of us got together here in the Bay Area, and we basically started doing things together to build this ecosystem. As I said, a year later, in 2019, we had our first summit, and since then you see a very steady growth in all dimensions: number of companies, number of people joining, number of people participating in the social media. Our meetup community is about 4,000 people now. Over 2,000 people on YouTube, and just recently we started also activities in Asia through WeChat and Bilibili channels. So definitely trying to build this massive ecosystem. And if you look at the numbers globally, so this is sort of like the global growth, and the numbers here are really phenomenal. So in less than 16 months, the community has grown to over 4,000 people. So you see, this is a snapshot of the growth. You see very fast growth there. And geographically, you see tinyML groups now all over the world. So we have 25 groups in 18 countries and quite a few of them in Asia. We believe that the Asia is quite important area for tinyML. There are many innovations happening there in the academic world, in the company, in the supply chain, and that's the focus of this meeting, is really to bring tinyML to Asia and have all discussions with our colleagues and partners in different parts of Asia there. And if you're interested in getting more involved, just email meetups@tinyml.org. Just send us an email, and we'll be happy to discuss collaborative opportunities there. So the reason for this solid growth, there are many reasons, because the technologies, tinyML technologies, are really evolving very, very rapidly in the hardware area, in algorithms, software, ecosystem, applications, venture capital investments, M&A, and so on. So really, this ecosystem, it's a very diverse ecosystem. Many pieces are coming together, and all of them are moving at very, very fast pace. So at the session today, we are going to focus on the hardware, because the hardware and the designs are very important components of tinyML. It's basically the foundation for tinyML and for applications there. But again, the point here is there are fundamental drivers for this significant growth. And I think, again, in less than 2 years, we see this going from seeds to some small plants. And I think soon we are going to see this big area growing very fast. And our vision in the foundation is that we see a new world is going to be with trillions of intelligent devices that all will be enabled by tinyML technologies. And these devices will sense, analyze, and act together to create healthier and more sustainable environment for all of us. So I think you can see the scale here. We're talking about trillions devices, and it's not a science fiction. We are already in the hundreds of billions tinyML microcontrollers and related devices there and technologies. And the goal here is to create, on one hand, significant business opportunities, but also to create a better, healthy environment for all of us that will be also sustainable. So really, tinyML is going to have a big impact on our lives in the coming decade. And these opportunities are massive. They're everywhere. They are in all areas around us where physical world of billions of sensors meets the tinyML technology. You can see here it's wearable, health, automotive, industrial, augmented reality, appliances, smartphone, cameras, and everywhere. And if you're talking about numbers, I showed this yesterday. It's kind of one way to look at the growth. This is from recent ABI research. You see that, first of all, they realize tinyML is a separate market category, and they're talking about billions of devices. And keep in mind, this is hardware only. So if you want to estimate the value of tinyML created value, including software and services, you have to multiply this roughly by a factor of 5 or 10. So we're talking about tens of hundreds of billions of dollars created by tinyML in the coming decade. So it's a huge opportunity, and it's real. Back to the summit. As I said, we started planning this tinyML Asia event about a year ago, and we would like to acknowledge a very strong contribution by the committee there. I think Professor Wei, he is going to give a keynote presentation in 5 minutes or so, and then Professor Su, he's been very instrumental in driving this as a chair, as local chair. And then we have an international committee, Sakya Dasgupta from H-Cortex. He is the CEO of H-Cortex. He is based in Japan, but the company has also roots in Singapore. Myself, based here in the Bay Area. So Wei Xiao, she works for ARM, and ARM is a global company. They have operations globally, including Asia. Hoi Junwoo from KAIS, the chair of this session, and Ara Feldman, the managing director of tinyML. So this small team has done quite a bit of work in the past 6 months or so to bring this program to you. So we're really thankful for their strong contribution and for making this event happen. Thank you. And as Professor Wu mentioned earlier, this event is free of charge, and this is thanks to the sponsors that contributed to this event. So we're hopeful to continue with tinyML Asia in a year, and we're very hopeful to have it in person, most likely in Shanghai in the fall. And this will be a different experience, and by then the community will grow even much bigger. But before that, we will have our flagship event, the summit, tinyML Summit 21. The planning is underway. You can check it on the website, tinyML Summit 2021. There are quite a few companies already sponsoring this event. So if you're interested in sponsorships, you can contact the email there, sponsorships@tinyml.org. So the focus of this event is going to be on the latest and greatest technologies and innovations and products in the tinyML area that happen in 2020, 2021. And also, unfortunately, this event will be virtual or online, but the committee will make all the effort to make it the best possible experience for people to connect and to engage and really learn new things, but also to connect with each other. So the deadline for papers is November 23, but check out all the announcements and invitations that will be coming in the next weeks and months. I think the summit event is truly going to be a distinguished and outstanding event for the tinyML community in 2021. And in general, if you're interested in growing the ecosystem, go to the website and you'll see all the information related to tinyML there, and you're very welcome to participate in any kind of activities, any type of events. It's an open ecosystem of people who are passionate about tinyML and who would like to really make tinyML big. And that's why we created this foundation, tinyML Foundation. It's a non-profit organization with the mission to grow the ecosystem, to help exchange knowledge between researchers and scientists in this space, to inspire on the capabilities that tinyML can bring to the world, and to connect the technology into the business and the product people together, really to grow all this ecosystem and accelerate its development. And our goal is really to make it big, and that's what we see is already happening now. Again, welcome to the tinyML Asia event. I think we are going to have great presentations today, tomorrow, and the day after tomorrow in these three areas: hardware, systems, and applications. And we are going to continue working with you even after this event. Just stay tuned, stay connected. Thank you.
We would like to thank our sponsor again, who have made this event possible. Our primary sponsor, ARM, the software and hardware foundation for tinyML. And Edge Cortex with the dynamic neural accelerator architecture and co-exploration engine brings cloud-level performance to the edge. And Sixth Sense builds ultra-low power sensing and inference hardware for embedded mobile and edge devices. And thank our partner organizations, SHI as our conference partner, and all of our media partners. And you have found them all listed on our website, tinyml.org. Thank you for joining tinyML Asia 2020 with us today. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow.